Okay. Hey, Scott. Good to see you. I'm here today with Scott Geise, the author of A Disturbing Injustice. And I'm tickled to see you. Glad you're here. Funny, I didn't tell you. I read the book again last week.
Oh, good.
Well, because I
Yeah.
read it 3 years ago.
Yeah. No joke. Yeah. It's been a while. Yeah. Since we first put it out. Well, yeah, it's been a bit. But we did some refinements since then, though. I think the final is a little bit a little bit shorter. Obviously, a little bit after we did a lot of editing and things. So yeah, a little bit different.
Yeah. I read the original. You're right. And so now I just read it again. And um, being that this is about someone's definition of success and how they got from here to here, whether it's money or personal or even spiritual. I have a wonderful client that he started the NFL pension fund
Really?
31 years ago, still runs it.
Oh my.
His
Yeah.
address I adore is 1700 Pennsylvania Avenue. And he's an attorney. And and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, because you two did the same thing about something. It was really cool.
Uh,
But he was an agnostic and
huh.
had a conversion, and it was and he's an interesting guy. But uh it's one of the questions I'll ask you about it. When I reread the book, I adored that you took a 4,000 square foot furniture store and made it into your
Pitfalls, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you did it with a 2-day class. He did it with a book. He and his wife designed their home over on the East Coast of Florida, in literally at their kitchen table. And I thought, boy, you two guys, that's a reach for me personally. But um, that gave me some insights
Sure.
as I read it again about you. But the first thing, let's start with, I want I want you to be able to share some stuff with our listeners that might help them avoid some pitfalls that we all had as we, especially in business. And the first one is about the crew that, you built a hell of a practice. And then you had some of your people leave and form a new practice and compete with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, if, as you look at it in retrospect, do you think there's anything you could have done to either anticipate it or avoid it, or avoid that happening?
Yeah, I do. I thought about it a lot, especially when it was happening. Geez, what caused this to go down? But in dentistry, it's mostly about you get a patient base, you build up, patients that come in, they're confident in the way you treat them. They feel comfortable. Once you get to a certain point, it's very difficult for patients to leave to go someplace else. But if the staff that's been treating them leaves to go someplace else, well, then it's not so difficult. But especially with the hygienist, most people come in just for their small cleaning. Hopefully they get their work done. Whatever's wrong, we check patients every 6 months. But as long as they're doing what they're supposed to do and keeping their teeth clean, generally they don't have many more problems. So it's that every 6 months maintenance. Once they get to that point, then generally they don't need to see the dentist so much, but they do need to see the hygienist. So if they get comfortable with the hygienist, they'll follow that hygienist pretty much. If it's convenient to go to the next place, it's certainly easy. In this case, that's exactly what happened. They went up the road, so it was simple for the patients to switch practices. So, but there's a non-compete. Most dentists make their employees, especially their associate dentists, sign a non-compete, so they can't go to another place. And it's pretty standard through dentistry, but it's a kind of a 5-mile radius thing. So, you get past the 5 miles and you're safe. But again, that's kind of like that limit where patients are, okay, maybe it's just a little bit too far to change, or maybe it's too difficult to change. And so they stay where they're at. But yeah, if I would have known ahead of time, that they had plans of leaving, things would have been like different. I just would have held them to the, let them know that it was not a, I guess, professional to leave in that kind of a way, and just make sure that more than anything, I just want to make sure the patients were being treated well, and I'm sure they were, but again, just not under my roof somewhere. They're just down a road a little further. So yeah, it's hard to say what could have been done differently, but I guess you just got to know the people better. More than anything, I thought my friend's wife would be a little bit more um, transparent about her wishes, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I have a friend who's a dentist, and he said COVID killed him with
Mike, I lost
hygienists.
on the phone.
Oh, COVID killed him with hygienists. He said, a friend of mine, because the hygienists all went independent during COVID, and
Yeah.
and then they came back and they went, okay, we want $60 an hour. And he was like, God, I'm buying your hospitalization, your 401k, and now you want $60 an hour.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's an important service, obviously, especially through COVID. That was a little bit scary for my. They're making us wear visors above our glasses. It's super hard to see what you're doing. I'm like, we just can't do this right now. There's just absolutely no way. Our office, we had to buy vacuum cleaners, a big funnel that came right in front of patients' mouths, to take all the uh, the aerosols away. Anything that was in the air, it was sucked up into these machines. So, and we still have, we had 8 operators. So there's 8 of them throughout the office that are still sitting there now, like, totally unused. So try to find another use for a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, the next thing that I found fascinating when I read the book last week was I really want to hear the I obviously I read it, and I'm not going to let a lot of this out because I want somebody to read the book because it's a fascinating book. But the ship, the schooner that you brought into town because you wanted to improve, you and a buddy of yours, because you wanted to improve tourism.
Yeah. 80-foot John Alden schooner. I mean, there's not many of them left. I mean, that's the biggest shame of the whole thing, is that they scuttled a absolute historic boat. It actually ran. It was part of the Coast Guard vessels at the time during World War II, and they ran it up and down the coast of Maine to make sure that subs, German subs and stuff, were not off the coast. But yeah, it's a big double mast schooner. I put a picture of it in the book there. It actually stood out like you wouldn't believe it. It's like this giant, like a giraffe sitting in the Poodle Zoo. It's like this just out of one massive ship. But it was so fun because we'd get 30, 40 people on the boat. We just go out for a day sail and come back, night sail to watch the sunset, go back. People love that boat, but you have to get it out of the frozen waters in the wintertime. So you gotta move it south. So the whole plan was to sell legs of the trip. Okay, well, you can take the Erie Canal trip. We're gonna take the mast off, get through all the bridges, so you can ride along, while we're on Erie Canal, get down to the Hudson Harbor, and then from there to the next stop, and maybe the Carolinas, and on and on all the way down to Tampa Bay, Florida. So another interesting thing about that boat, because it was in Tampa for one summer, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wanted to use it as their flagship out in the water while the game. So the players and the owners can all go on the boat after games. So that was all lined up all the way to roll for 2008 season. So they would have been down there for all of that. So yeah, there's just heartbreak just to see that the boat scuttle. It was terrible.
You even had to extend the dock, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. I was in airspace above the other docks that were there. They were renting out docks to the fishermen and boating down here in Alcott Harbor, and because the boat was so big, I was actually in airspace above, which I had to pay for. Above some of the docks of the owner next to me. Crazy, because the mast just went over the bow. Thread came out over the top of that, so you had to pay for that area as well.
You had to pay for air rights?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. believe me, the guy said to me, he goes, "Oh, I'll take care of you, Scott. This is, we can make it, it'll work, and then I got a bill for the airspace. Yeah.
Wow. So tell me how the hell how did this Coast Guard thing happen?
So each year you got to take the boat out. It's just like a annual inspection for your vehicle, but with a wooden boat, the wood leaks water. All wooden boats leak. There's no doubt about it. So you have to change the caulking between. It's like almost like a fur almost that goes in between this caulking in between boards. So you got to pull the boat out of the water, let all the water drip out. Once all the water is out, as the boards dry, they shrink a little bit, and as they shrink, it opens up the gap more, so you can put caulking in there. Once the caulking's in, you kind of gently put it back into the water again until it all expands and fills the gaps again. So that's how big boats like that have to be done. And because we were taking people on it for charter, you got to make sure it's safe. So every year we had to take it out. Well, this year, this happened when we took the boat out. I had already been in the process of going through the other legal matter. And when it was pulled out, someone was there, and for whatever reason, they damaged the boards on the boat. And the unfortunate part about that is that there's just no more longleaf pine. All those schooners that were out there all use this longleaf pine out of South Carolina, pretty much harvested it out. There's no large trees of longleaf pine anywhere in the United States anymore. It's pretty much eradicated the whole species almost. But anyways, it just happened that the board that this guy damaged happened to be the longest plank on the ship. It's called a garboard plank. So there's the keel, and then this first board off of that run from one end to the other. All the other ones are off of that, get shorter and shorter, but that first board is super important. So the garboard plank is just, once you damage that, it was a done deal. There's no way to replace the board.
I'll be damned. So that was it.
Yeah. So that was it. So I had to get an insurance company down there. I had to hire lawyers for the road while I have lawyers for the other stuff. So I had 4 lawyers going at the same time, which, again, one lawyer is bad enough. 4 of them is just insane. And unfortunately, it drained pretty much what I had financially at that time. I was hoping to get at least some benefit from the insurance company to say, okay, we can, it's a total. Yeah, we can't get the boat back in the water again, but at least I'd get the money back to pay off the rest of the $360,000 that we bought the boat with. But unfortunately they didn't. So I had to pay that as well. So I say it was just one thing after another. Sometimes when I think in some of these cases like this here, one of the ways the prosecutors can get you to take a plea or to take a deal or whatever is to financially just tear you apart. And that's what they did.
They have unlimited resources.
Yeah, that
we pay for.
I know. So yeah, that to me was too much. But I still hung in there. I still told my lawyers I'm not being allowed to staying until the end. And then 3 years later, it was impossible to continue. So I had to take a plea.
Yeah, it's the I have a friend. Matter of fact, we talked yesterday. He had a company that was sued by out of he was in Cleveland. Visa sued him in Australia because they knew they could break him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He went to Australia, fought him, and won. And
wow.
After he won,
cost him a ton, I'm sure.
Visa bought him. So he got it all back.
Excellent. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I had a friend.
That's a good story.
I had a friend who was our attorney, actually, and he became a judge. And the greatest advice he gave me about the legal profession is he said, Mike, litigation begets litigation.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I tell you, Mike, like I wanted to stay as far away from the court system as I could possibly be. I didn't want anything to do with it, nor does anybody else. But once you're in it, is an absolute eye opener. You can't, I don't know. I've learned so much, since then, legally that it's like, my God, I don't, unless you're a lawyer, there's no way the common person out there can defend themselves. It's impossible.
It is because of the resources, unless you're a multimillionaire.
Right. And you're going to spend it. Whatever it is, you're going to spend it.
There was, you've gone through really a harrowing ordeal. Tell me about how you keep your mindset. How do you get through it every day?
I tell you, the hardest part was back when I'm fighting all this stuff before I had to go away. Just with the boys, I was divorced from my wife, so I'm a single father. 3 boys. I've got half the time with the boys, so when they're with me, I was just trying to totally get all that other stuff out of my mind. It's like, I don't know. I think it trained me to do it. It's the way the way to survive, I guess. I mean, I think your mind just takes over and you just kind of compartmentalize things and try to be totally with your kids when you can, and then totally into the other when you're not. So for me, because I didn't have the boys full time, the off time was totally involved with the court case and trying to keep my practice going and financially trying to pay for so many things. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't have been able to get through it unless I had such a strong family here in Newfane. My mom and dad were here in town. They were to take the boys for me. Some of the nights mom would have us over for dinner, so I didn't have to cook here with the boys. So she knew I was, fighting, going back and forth. And, just my friends were so supportive. Through this whole thing, losing your integrity it's got to be the worst thing ever. I think Warren Buffett was one that said that, you lose money, but you can't, but if you can't afford to lose your integrity. And so, so I went through this case here, people would ask me, like, guys, aren't you worried about people, what they think about you? It's like, well, listen, the people that I know me. My patients knew me. They were still so supportive of me right up to the day I went to prison, came back from prison. I'm back in practice again. And they're still supporting me. So the people that know me, and my integrity is where it was before. But the people that don't know me, they can make their own decisions. Say, well, he must have done something, or maybe he got his comeuppance because he was doing so well, and here he is buying sailboats in Alcott and things. Well, not knowing that I didn't make a cent off of that boat. It's been lost. More almost like $500,000 probably with lawyer's fees and the boat, but still. I think the big thing is just, knowing that the people who know me, and if people don't know me, then read the book and then you'll understand the story. Now, then you can judge me after that, but don't judge me until then.
Yeah, it was Buffett. I'm very familiar with what Buffett said, and it was very profound. He said it to his company. He said it takes you a lifetime to build a reputation and 5 minutes to lose it.
Exactly.
And he said, be very careful because it doesn't take more than one misstep. And
so true.
And it's all gone.
Yep.
So he's a smart guy. I tried to sell my company to him. He was an interesting meeting. I don't think I've ever told you that. I hired his son to write a music score. His son lives in Milwaukee. And as a matter of fact, his son did 4 of the tracks for Dances with Wolves.
No joke.
Yeah. And that's really how I got to him. But and then I tried to sell it to Bezos. And he was right though. Bezos was right. I'll give him his due. He said, I don't want to put anybody in between a sale. I'm going to treat the world how to press one button and buy.
Yeah.
And he was right. But anyway, that's what I'm very familiar with what Warren said about it.
So I think to lead into Warren there one more time, but when my friend was taking the boat to Florida for the first time, they got as far as Miami before they got around the horns to Tampa. But Keith told me when he got off the boat, he said there was this gentleman looking at the boat saying, "Oh my God, what a beautiful schooner." He said that was Warren Buffett standing there on the dock watching. The boat came in, because there's nothing else like it down there. So it slips in there like, oh my God, where did this come from? But yeah, he said it was Warren Buffett that was standing there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have Just crazy stories. I have a friend who just told me last week that the largest American elm, okay, is in Detroit. It's 109 feet tall. And evidently there isn't very big elms because of Dutch elm disease. Oh, it's wiped them all out.
Yeah.
Well, evidently the mast on your ship is elm. On that ship was elm because that's why they moved all the boat production to Massachusetts because that's where the elm trees were.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And crazy, he was just told that he has the tallest American elm in the United States. It's 134 feet tall, and it's in outside of Cleveland on his property.
Wow.
Just crazy stories. Well, your sports career was pretty interesting. You really were coached by a hell of a coach.
Yeah, John Beeline still is so well respected in the basketball world. I mean, believe you me, my buddies and I that played basketball for him here in Newfane, we knew then that he was, poised for greatness. I mean, we could see just the way he treated us, the way he was a big role model for all of us, way back then. And we all still try to, emulate John Beeline, as far as, what we do in life. And because John, we get a chance to see him here, if I called him right now, he'd jump on the phone and he'd be like, "Oh God, Scott, what's going on in your life? How you doing?" He read the book actually and called me immediately after and told me what, oh my God, didn't realize all the stuff you're going through at the time, because I went out to see him and afterwards when I had gotten home, I got together with all my buddies that had played for him, and we had like a little reunion with him out in Ann Arbor. And then, he sat down with each of us, and I know he knew about stories about what happened, but not really close. But as soon as I wrote the book, he called me and said, "Oh my God, I can't imagine." But yeah, it's he was quite a coach. Even the guys that I had at Hobart were Dave Urich, also a Hall of Fame lacrosse coach. I just happened to be coached by guys that were absolutely incredible in their sports. And at Hobart, we played. I didn't play lacrosse in high school. I didn't even know about the game, to tell you the truth. But because of playing football, Urich was my football and lacrosse coach, so he talked me into trying out for lacrosse. That freshman year, I didn't play, but I watched them win a national championship on our football field. And after that, he was like, "Oh God, Scott, you got to try out for this." So I did, made the team, and we won every year I was on the team too. So Hobart's lacrosse team won every single year in the 80s, all the way up to 92. So there was 12 years in a row that we won the national championship every single year,
all the way through, never knocked off.
Wow, he must have been a hell of a coach.
Yeah, Urich was just unbelievable. I mean, you just wanted to play for him. Everybody said the same thing. It's like, oh my God, you want to play hard for Coach Urich. You sure did.
Yeah. I have our granddaughter married a kid that was the goalie for the state champion lacrosse team, and he's coaching a team in Ohio now. And he took over a team. I think he had one win. They were terrible. And they made they made a joke. He made a joke to them because when he took over the team, I guess they were really in bad shape. And he said, "I'm going to get you to the state finals." And he said, "If you go to the state finals, I'll coach it in a tutu." I have pictures of him wearing a tutu on the sidelines, running back and forth.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I always thought that was great.
But I think once lacrosse is it, once you play the game, it's in you. You just can't not play it. But as soon as I got back home from the service, I started the lacrosse team here at Newfane, and they're still playing. It's a school sport here now. It wasn't even in our whole area, to tell you the truth, but it just kind of picked up when I got home. I got the Newfane team started. I helped the Wilson team get going, our neighboring school. But yeah, it's a phenomenal game. It's especially spring sport. all baseball players tend to, if you like baseball, you like baseball. But if you don't, lacrosse is your game.
Yeah. Baseball's good for a nap for me. Even though I like the game, I always fall asleep.
It's certainly not as exciting. It's just
No, lacrosse is way more fun, I think, to
unbelievable.
watch.
Oh God. Yeah. You have to pay attention. You don't know where the ball's at. You gotta really watch.
Yeah, and it moves fast.
Yeah, really fast.
Well, we're getting close. So let's talk about how to wrap this up. Tell me what you've learned. Okay? I mean, tell me what you've learned. And my last question you'll get a kick out of, because I always try to end on something personal. But I encourage everybody to read the book, because it is a hell of a book. It really is. I liked it better the second read, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, we set things up quite a bit on the second time through. But I learned a lot about people more than anything. Obviously I learned a lot of the system of law and how that all goes. There's a set of rules out there that we have to follow, or we get in trouble. But sometimes the government prosecutors sometimes don't follow the rules so they can win the case. So if they don't have a case, they have to cheat a little bit. And sometimes they bend the rules so that they can win. So it's to just realize out there that if you're in trouble for something, they have to follow rules. And if you can show that they're not following the rules, they have to dismiss your case. So that's something that I had no idea. And I just thought that my lawyers would have the idea, that they would know how to handle all that stuff. So I just put my faith in them. And you've got to be your own advocate no matter what. Even if you don't know what's happening in law, you've got to learn as much as you possibly can so that you can keep your lawyers to the fire to fight for your defense. And that's something that I didn't have time for. I'm too busy doing what I do otherwise, to learn about law. But I was force fed it, and it was put through me. So I learned, as I went along. But if I'd have known everything that I knew afterwards beforehand, I would have made sure. I'm sure I would have gotten off. I'm sure my kids would. Absolutely. If I knew right at the beginning, when I told them at the arraignment, I said, "Listen, I'm not guilty. I'm not pleading out. I want to go to trial." 70 days later, they're supposed to take me to trial, unless my lawyers put in some type of motion to get information or whatever. What was very strange about my case is that the information that the prosecutor had, they would not give to my lawyers, which is illegal. Discovery is, they have to. So they didn't give my lawyers discovery until 7 months later, which is what's going on here? But they're thinking, the judge is thinking that, I'm going to plead out. I told my lawyer to go shove that indictment up the prosecutor's ass. So I don't think that they had any idea that I was going to plea out. There's no way I was going to plea out. But 3 years later, I had to. There's no way around it. So, but I learned not just that, but I say people is probably, more so, I know who my true friends are. They were with me throughout. A lot of people that thought I got what I deserved or whatever, all along, I'm sure, even though I thought of them as friends, they just weren't true friends, So, yeah, and family and support from those people is by far the most important thing to get through things. And I just happen to have an absolutely solid family foundation. And the friends that I do have are stellar. We just had a party this past weekend for my wife, and you can just see the people there, how much we all just love each other and just, we just enjoy each other's time. And, time goes by fast, and without good friends, it can't be a whole lot of fun. So
very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to end on this. It's my favorite. Tell me about the pool.
The pool
that you've got that you swim in outside. Remember
the swim spa?
Yeah, tell me, because I was a swimmer through college. That's how I got through college. On a swimming.
This is it's one of those Michael Phelps trainers. It's like a 15-foot by 8-foot swim spa. So it's got a jet on the one end, so you can swim against the current. And where my house is located, there's a little bit of a drop down in the backyard, maybe about a 10, 15-foot drop on a slope. Where they were going to bring this in, they brought it to the house, and the guys that were going to install this thing took a look at that little slope, and they're going, "There's no way we're going to stop that before it gets to the creek." So they brought in a crane, and the crane lifted it up over the top of the house. And I said to the guy, I said, so what happens if it breaks? What happens if that rope breaks up top here? He goes, well, you'll have a pool in your basement. You'll have a But it's beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely, we're in it all the time, winter, summer. We're in Buffalo, so it's going to get cold here. And even in the summertime, the sun just didn't heat up the pool well enough. So the swim spa is at 95 degrees right now. My wife goes in it, loves it. We're out there in January, and the snow's falling. It's just unbelievable. So well worth what we invested in it, and it's a great thing to add to anyone's house. I mean, if you like the water with the swim spa, gosh, you can train it. You can do all kinds of things there. So
very cool. Yeah, I talked to you one time. You were in the pool. That's why, and I made a note of it because I thought someday I got to talk to you about it.
Oh God, we had probably 12 people in there one night. It's just you standing around. There's seats for jacuzzi seats and jets on the wall, and oh my God, my kids love it. My nieces and nephews love it. Yeah,
very cool.
Fun.
Very cool. Well, we're over 30, so we'll wrap it up. But it was fun, and I'll get this promoted and in front of people because I think your book is a cautionary tale that should
Absolutely.
be read. That doesn't have to be a medical professional. It could be for anybody.
I think so too. Yeah. It's just, again, the common folk out there that just have no idea about, things that can happen because they are going to happen at some point to someone or yourself or to someone, it would be nice to know, kind of have a little bit more insight to it before you go into it.
Cool. Well, thanks, Scott. It was great fun.
Thank you. You as well. Thanks, man.
All right. Bye-bye.